Hello everybody, it's Wendy, and today we are going to make a necklace using products from the Bargain Bead Box website and the subscription box. So first of all, our encouraging word for today is you worry too much. You got this, remember? And I love that little bear on the ice. He's so cute. All right, so here's the deal. I started to do this, film this whole video, made this whole component here, and the necklace that I was trying to make just did not work out. The video kept stopping. I was having issues with it, so I scrapped it. I was like, okay, this isn't going to work. So here's what I've got. Here's what I've done. I'm going to show you how I did this, and then if you want to do it, you can. And then we're just going to finish it because I like this piece, and I want to do what I was planning to do. But like I said, that last video just didn't work out. So here's what I've got. I've got these beautiful crystals from the Bargain Bead Box. And this is the April edition of the Bargain Bead Box. And I'm going to set these aside as I show them to you because my camera doesn't like to try to focus on more than one thing at a time. It's very picky. And then we've got these bicones. They're part matte, part shiny from the box this month. Okay, and the box is called Stirring Earth, if you're wondering which one. We've got these beautiful agate beads in a really pretty greenish teal color. I've got the Ocean Jasper, the 10 millimeter Ocean Jasper beads, all of them. And then I used the Silver Leaf Jasper, the 8 millimeter. So I just pulled from my stash, and these are actually from Bargain Bead Box's website. I just bought these. In fact, I had them setting out here with the rest of the order to do a haul video, but I'm going to use them in this project because I need them. So these are 8 millimeter Picasso. Are they Picasso Jasper or Picture Jasper? They're not Picture Jasper. Let me see which Jasper these are. I'm sorry. I knew this a second ago in my head. I can't remember now. For some reason that has left me. But I want to tell you the right ones in case you... they are Picasso Jasper. 8 millimeter Picasso Jasper. So that's what these are. And they were 40 pieces for... Let's see. 40 pieces for $4.39. And then if you're a subscriber to the Bargain Bead Box, you get an extra 30% off of that. So that's what I'm using here. These Picasso Jasper. And you know what? That looks like more than 40 pieces. Maybe it's not. Sure looks like it. Did I buy 2 of them? No. That's 40 pieces, I guess. Okay. And then we're going to be using possibly the bicones. These really pretty bicones from the Bargain Bead Box this month. So I've got them out. So that is the beads, and, well, I'll tell you the component here in a minute. I've got some bead caps. These are just the little 5-petal antique bronze bead caps. These didn't come in the box this month. I have seen them on Bargain Bead Box's website before, and I do have them on my website if you're interested in purchasing these. They are just little 5-petal bead caps. I like them because I feel like they fit a lot of beads really well. And they're just simple, but we're going to be using some of those. I have a toggle clasp. Now this, again, is not from the box this month, but the one in the box this month was just huge, and I'm not going to use it for this necklace, but this actually did come from Bargain Bead Box. So there it is, just a toggle. I have 3 crimp tubes. You'll need 4 if you want to do this the way I did it, but I've attached this piece already, so 3 crimp tubes, 3 crimp covers, and again, you will need 4 if you're going to do this. These are 2x2 crimp tubes, and the crimp covers are 5 millimeter, I think. And then you're going to need a few jump rings. I've just got my jump rings here, and then some chain. Now, this is not the chain from the box. Again, I pulled out this Rolo chain from my own stash. It's kind of a medium medium size Rolo chain, and I pulled it out because I like this round element here, and I felt like it kind of goes with it. And then we've got the round and the toggle, so I don't know, just trying to continue a theme. And I felt like the chain from the box, which is this chain, was just too small for what I'm wanting to do here with, just for the look of it. I mean, it would have worked, but I wanted something a little bit thicker. Okay, and then I have some tiger tail or bead stringing wire, whatever you want to call it. This is 7-strand bead-on, and it is antique bronze color. Okay, all right, so the way I did this, so what you'll need if you want to do this focal is I did use some of the chain from the bargain bead box chain that came this month, and I used this hammered donut or hammered circle. What I did is I took the chain and I cut it in 2-inch lengths, 4 2-inch lengths. So here's one, here's one, here's one, and here's one. And I was going to make the whole thing 2 inches here and 2 inches here. So it was going to be a lot bigger, longer than this is. But when I got it all beaded up and everything and put together, I didn't like the way it looked. So I took the 2-inch chain and folded it over. Okay, so I've attached it with jump rings here. So if you look, you can see it's actually, there are the links right there. It's actually 2 pieces attached to this jump ring and 2 pieces attached to this jump ring. So this was a 2-inch length. I just folded it in half and attached the ends to this jump ring. And same with this, same with this, and same with this. And then on the other end, I found the top 2 links and attached them to this jump ring. Okay, so I have a jump ring on the top of both and a jump ring attaching them to the donut on the bottom of both. They're held together with a jump ring here. So these 2 are held together with this jump ring. Of course, this ring down here holds the bottom 2 together. And then these are just the 2-inch lengths of chain folded over. I hope that's making sense. I know it sounds really complex. It's really not. So this is a 2-inch length of chain right here. So it would have come out to here. And I put the beads all on it, and then I thought it's too long. So I folded it in half and attached both bottoms, which would have been the top and the bottom, but I folded it in half and attached the links here to this jump ring. So there's 2 links. There's the what would have been the very top link and the bottom link attached to this jump ring. Okay. Then I did that with all of them. And then I took jump rings and attached them to this middle ring. So they're attached here to this middle ring, here to this middle ring. I hope that makes sense. It probably doesn't, but I don't know how to explain it any better. I'm going to show you on the bottom how I attached this ring. But, okay. And then what I did is I took this beading wire, I wrapped it around this jump ring, crimped it, put a crimp cover over it, and that's what this is. Okay, and this is just bead stringing wire. But I just had trouble with the way that it was laying, and I needed more wire on this side than I had on the other side. So we're going to try to finish it. I'm going to show you how to finish it off, okay? Just finish the whole necklace. So I'm going to find basically the middle point of these 2 bottom loops, okay? So you can see it's actually 2 inches of chain folded in half. So it's 2 pieces now that are 1 inch, but they're doubled. So if I stretch them out, they would be 2 inches, and they're just connected to a jump ring at the bottom. So I'm going to take another jump ring, just like I did over here. I'm going to do the same thing that I did over here. And this is like an 8mm jump ring. And the reason I used this little bit bigger one is I wanted to be able to attach it here at the top and then attach this to it. So I'm just making sure that I had enough room in my ring. So I'm going to find the top. So here's the top of this one. And I'm just holding them up to find the top. You don't really have to do anything special. It doesn't have to be exact. Just try to find, you know, sort of the top. And I'm just going to put my jump ring through the tops of both sections of chain. So there, it just pulls it all together, okay? I'm going to close this ring up really good, and you have to get these closed really good. You can hear it click if it's closed good, but you don't want this coming out of it. And it'd be better to use a closed ring, but obviously I can't do that if I'm going to hook those together. Okay, so now I'm going to take my crimp tube, and my cover, one of them. I'm going to put my crimp tube on here, okay? And then I'm going to take the chain and I'm just going to make a little loop through this jump ring. So I'm going to go back around and down through my crimp tube. So I've just looped it right onto the jump ring. I could make the loop first and then attach the jump ring, but honestly, I feel like this is easier to do it this way for me. Okay, so you scoot it all the way up. It doesn't need to be a big loop. And you want to make sure that your chain, your two bead stringing wires in here are not crossed. They're laying side by side, okay? And then you're just going to put the crimp in the bottom divot of your pliers and crimp it down. And what it does is it puts each one of these little wires in its own little channel, okay? And then when we turn this, and this gets a little fiddly to do, but you want to turn it into your pliers 90 degrees. I usually use this top divot, but you can use whichever one you want, but I put them 90 degrees, this little crimp. See that? Right there in the top divot, and then I just mash it, and it folds it right over into the perfect little crimp, okay? And then I'm going to put my crimp cover on, and to do this, I usually hold this in the pliers because it has these little places that'll hold it pretty well. And I'm just going to slide it, and sometimes it doesn't stay in. Sometimes it's a little tricky, but usually this works fairly well. And if it doesn't, then I'll just try to hold it with my fingers, but I just slide it over. Yeah, and it's going to be difficult. Sometimes if they're not open super wide, it can be hard. So just slide it over your crimp like that. Okay, and then I'm just going to take my pliers and close it. But you want to make sure that your crimp is down in there. There we go. Just close it up. And so there we have it. The top and the bottom are hooked together, and we've got this piece. Now, actually, this is the bottom because it has the longer chain, or the longer stringing wire. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to take these beads, all these beads, and I want to come up, I want to come down and up and around to about, I want this to lay, it's asymmetrical, okay? So this needs to come down, I want this to come up, and this on this side to come up to about 2 inches above this piece, okay? And what I'm going to do is start beading on this, and then I will kind of have to hold it up and see how it looks on me. You'll have to do this for yourself too, because this is very individual. It just depends on how your shape is and how you like it to lay and all that. So I'm going to pull in. I can't decide if I want to use these or not. I'm thinking I may not. I am going to put a couple of these in there just because they're in here. And maybe a couple of these and some of these. I wanted way more of these green beads, but I didn't have them. I did order some more from Bargain Bead Box, but they're not here yet. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this, and I might add in some of the green over here and then our bead caps. Okay, so I'm going to start out by putting on a bicone. Now, I don't have a huge amount of these 10mm ones, so I have to kind of figure out what kind of a pattern that I want to use. And I want to kind of keep it simple over here because this is really meant to be the focal. So I think I'm going to take these Picasso Jasper beads, and I'm going to do, let's do 1, 2, I'm going to do 3, I think, in a row. And I'm trying to keep the little more subtle colors of these over here closer to this, because there are some reds and stuff in here, and this has really not got a lot of red in it, so I'm just trying to keep the more subtle shades over here. Okay, now I think I'm going to do a bead cap. Whoops, would help if, well, yeah, I did it right. Okay, a bead cap, one of the 10 millimeters, another bead cap, and I'm just kind of figuring out this pattern as we go here. One of the green beads, and I tried to pick out the darkest of these green agate beads that I could. And then another 10 millimeter. We'll see if this is going to work. I may need to spread the 10 millimeters out more. Do we like this or not? I kind of do. Okay, let's do 3 more of the picture jasper, or Picasso jasper. I keep wanting to call this picture jasper. I don't know why. So 3 more of the Picasso jasper. And then do I want to repeat that? I kind of want to pull the green in because there's green over here. So I want it to kind of get pulled out to here too. Let's see. But the question is, do I want to do this green? I don't know. This green doesn't really match it, and it's bothering me. It does match, but it doesn't. So I may not use the green. I may just do this. All right, so you know what? Let me just think a second. I want to incorporate some of these, but not sure how. Okay, let's do 3 more. I'm not going to put the 2 picture jasper together. I'm just going to do 1 in the bead caps. So that makes it kind of stand out a little because it's got the 2 bead caps around it. Let's do 3 of these. And then do I want to do this? I don't think I do, guys. I think I'm just going to leave this kind of plain and leave that with all the sparkle. We'll see how it looks. Okay, another, what is this? Ocean jasper. The big ones are ocean jasper. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's just beat it up a little and we'll see how it's looking. So there's the ocean jasper. 3 Picasso jasper. And again, I'm trying to keep the plainer colored ones. I mean, I might mix in a red one here and there, but I don't want it to have too much red in it. So 1, 2, 3, and our ocean jasper in bead caps. I think this is going to be good, actually. So just keep repeating the pattern on around until you get up on the other side and come on back. Okay, so here's where we are with this. Now I'm going to go ahead and bead on this side. I'm going to start with the bicone like I did on the other side. Just put this right down over both of those wires there, okay? And then I'm going to do the same thing. 3 of the Picasso jasper. There's 1, 2, and 3. And then 1 of the 10 millimeter ocean jasper with a bead cap. So here's this one. And this. And now I kind of want to evaluate. So let me move these out of the way so we can look. I do want this to be asymmetrical. So I want this part over here to hang right about where I've got it. So it's kind of a focal on the side. So I think now at this point, I'm going to put a couple of bead bugs on here tight down to the bead so I can actually measure or see exactly where it's going to hang on me. And then I'm going to go ahead and just hold it up on myself and see how it goes. And it's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and attach the chain, I think, now. So let me tell you how long this is in case you're wanting to make it exactly like mine. I have got 12 inches, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 inches, okay? And a necklace like this that lays kind of around my collarbone, I like to be about 24 inches or a little less. So if I have 17, 1, 22, 23, I need about 3.5 inches on each side of chain, okay? So this is going to be really easy to do. I'm just going to measure out, and I'm going to do, let's see, probably 4 inches on each side. I don't know, maybe I should go longer just to be safe. Let's do 4.5. I'm going to do 4.5 inches on each side just to be safe. I don't want to end up with not enough. And this Rolo chain is going to be cute on here because of the circle. So the way I measure this is I take an eye pin or a head pin, just hold up the one that I trimmed next to the one that's not trimmed. And just cut it right in here, the same place. Okay, so now we have our 2 little pieces of chain, and it doesn't take a whole lot for this because we've done most of it with the beads already, the length of the necklace, I mean. Okay, so I'm going to hook this right to the chain, and we're going to do it the same way we did over there. I am going to put a bicone on each one just because I kind of like the way it makes it look finished. And then I'm going to take my crimp tubes and my crimp covers. So I'm going to take the crimp tube, put it right on there. Actually, I don't want to, oh yeah, that's not hooked together. Never mind. I was thinking this whole thing was one big piece and I was going to scoot it up so I didn't waste so much stringing. But it's not all one piece, and I will definitely use this for something else. So I'm just going back through a couple of the beads down here, went back through the crimp tube and a bead, and I'm going to pull this up tight. Now here's the thing when you're doing this. You want this to be tight because you don't want extra wire showing, but you don't want it to be unnaturally stiff, you know, to where it doesn't have movement or it lays weird. So just kind of be careful with that when you're doing this. You can hold your bead here, your crimp tube, and pull, and that will pull everything up as tight as you want it to go. But just try to remember, oh, for heaven's sakes, I pulled it right out of there. Try to remember that it's going to need a little bit of movement. I'll put that back in a minute. I'll have to close that link up really good. That's the other thing. You have to make sure these links are closed up really good. Okay, so I have a tiny little loop here. And that's all I need is a tiny one. And I'm just pulling tight, trying to make sure that everything is connected all around, but it's not poker straight. And then I'm just going to crimp it like we did the other one. Now it's a little bit trickier when you're doing these with a bead right beside it to get your crimp cover on. Okay, so you have, let me get this trimmed off really quickly. So now we've got it crimped and we have our loop here, but there's a bead right below it. So just kind of try to pull it up and then try to just insert your crimp cover on there. You have to fiddle with it just a little, pull it up, and it can be a little bit difficult when you have a bead below it, but it will go on. And you can even take these little crimp covers and grab it with one end of your plier and then grab the other end with your plier and kind of widen it, open it up a little bit, and it'll make it a little easier to get it on your crimp. You're just going to close it back up anyway. It doesn't hurt to do this, but it will make it a little bit easier to get it back, to get it on your crimp. And this is what I do a lot of times when I'm having trouble. There we go. And you just open it a little wider than it was. And then just slide it up on there. But it is a little harder when you've got the bead below it to get it on there, I think anyway. It's still not going on. Where are my, I need my narrow little pliers. Here they are. I just need to pull it open a little bit. So if you grab both ends, you grab this top and this bottom, and just open it back a little. Or you can find one in your stash that is more open, which would probably be the easier thing, but I'm determined to fight with it right now. Okay, now we're going to put it on. And now it should definitely go on the crimp. There we go. Okay, so get it right in there, take your pliers, and close it right back up. This one's being more difficult than most, probably because it knows that I'm filming. This is what they do to me. Okay. Look, buddy, you will comply. I will make you. There we go. All right, now he's on there reluctantly, but he's on there, and you may have to just kind of straighten it up a little. You know, these are very bendy. You can move them around, make it look round like it should. Okay, now I'm just going to hook this right back on, and then I'll make sure this link is closed up really good. And I hate opening Rolo. I really do, because I think it's hard to get it back closed all the way. I probably should just use a jump ring, but I'd really just rather connect it to the chain. Okay, so I'm just going to close it up really good. That looks pretty good. If it gets out of there, it's pretty magician. It's a little magician. All right, now we're going to do the same thing over here. Take your bead bug off, make sure everything's pressed down, and see how this chain's kind of poking out right there, and it was moving my bead up. You want to be careful of that, because you don't want there to be a loop sticking out or something that would make it not hang right. Okay, so we're going to go down with our crimp back through the crimp bead, through a couple of the beads here, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull this one and do it before I try to put the chain on, because probably the same thing will happen if I don't. This is a good way if you just take your plier and grab this and then pull, and then just hold it in your plier. You can pull it down tight like this, okay? And then just make sure everything's tightened up nicely. And same thing, we're going to crimp this guy down, turn it, and close it. And this little guy, I'm going to make sure he's open well enough so that I don't have to sit and fight. I do have bigger crimp bead covers, but honestly, I like to use the smallest ones that I have, because if you get a bigger one on, sometimes they can be too loose and they slide around, or I don't know, I just like the look of them when they fit really well. So there it is. He was much more compliant than his counterpart over there. And we're just going to trim this up. Okay. Now where's my other piece of chain? Let's go ahead and put this on. See, it's just a thin little line in there, and they will fall out of that little thin line. They find it and they get out, and then your necklace falls apart. So you gotta be really careful when you put these back on and close them up, that you close it up super tight. And I just give it a good press, and as you can see, it's closed better than it was before. All right, so here is our necklace. Let's add, you know what I didn't do? I did not put my bicone on this side. That's okay. I'm not going to worry about that. I don't want to undo it and redo it. So the bicone on that side, hopefully nobody will care. I'm keeping this necklace anyway, so it's not like that anybody's really going to be complaining about it, but it probably would be better to put it on there if you remember, but I didn't. I totally forgot. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and hook our toggle. I've just got a couple of like 6mm jump rings here. going to put our toggle bar on. And then our toggle ring. And then we'll have it together. This one has been, I'm telling you, everything I tried to do yesterday failed. I tried to film a different video and it failed and was just horrible. So yeah, I don't know what yesterday was a problem. It was a real problem. So finally I just gave up. I went outside and worked in the yard and washed the car. So, all right, so here we have it. We've got a little asymmetrical situation going on here. I like this. I think it's really pretty. It definitely needed the bicone over here, and I may take it apart and redo it, but I'm not going to right now. But just when you put yours on, make sure you put your bicone up there, like I totally forgot. Okay, let me put this on a form and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm actually just going to model this one because I have my hair fixed and I have another meeting today, so I look halfway decent. I'm not in my PJs, but this is how it hangs, and you can put that up a little bit more if you want, but I like it. I think it turns out really cute. And you really can't even see that bicone's missing because it's way up here, so, well, actually it's this side, isn't it? But still, it doesn't really notice. I don't think, but I'll probably go ahead and fix it just for my OCD purposes. But yeah, I think it turned out pretty. It was a trial and a struggle. They all have been, I don't know, lately for some reason. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It's free to do so. Doesn't cost a thing. And it helps me out. And if you subscribe, you want to ring the little bell, that notifies you when I upload more videos. I do have a couple more things I'm going to do with Bargain Bead Box. And then I have like 4 videos scheduled for Victory Gems and Beads. And then I'm going to do a craft room tour. So if you don't have the little bell ring, you're not going to know when I upload this video. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. I will have all the information for Bargain Bead Box in the description box below this video. If you want to subscribe, I do have a coupon code for $2 off your first box. It is Wendy2. If you don't want to subscribe, you just want to shop in their store, you can do that as well and use the coupon code, but you can only use it one time. So you can shop in their store if you're not a subscriber. You just don't get the 30% off coupon that you do get if you are a subscriber. So anyway, all the information will be in the description box below the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.